There is no way he just said this. Tyler Herro just drops a major reality check on the entirety of Heat Nation following his first All-Star appearance and really All-Star weekend. I'm here to break down the quotes as well as what to look forward to from this Miami Heat team in the second half of this NBA season as it officially starts today. Welcome back to Heat Digest, and again, we're going to be breaking down all of that on this episode of Heat Digest. But first, before we get to the news and information, remember, if you're a part of the 85.5%, not currently subscribed to the channel, and you want to stay up to date on everything Miami Heat, scroll down, click the subscribe button. We do appreciate all the love and support, so thank you guys. But now let's get to it and break down the major reality check for Miami, and it's coming from their best player this year, and that is not an argument. Tyler Herro, without a doubt, unequivocally, is the best player in a Miami Heat jersey up to this point of the year. Again, Bam Adebayo has been good. He has not been great. Honestly, it seems like he has regressed just a little bit from last season. Kel'el Ware has been a major point for this Miami Heat team and looks like he's going to be a significant piece for this Miami Heat organization for years to come, as again, he is a rookie, and honestly, I believe he is going to win the Rookie of the Year this year if he continues to put these games together with 15 plus points and 12 plus rebounds and the defensive presence that he maintains every time he is on the basketball court. So there are some bright points for the Heat, but again, it has not been this season we have been honestly hoping for. Currently, we are the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference, and that is not great because the Eastern Conference is not relatively strong. Obviously, Cleveland and Boston at the top of the 1 and 2 seeds in the East. They have been running away with it for really the majority of this season, and it has not been a surprise. They are very well built. They got better, or at least Cleveland got better at the trade deadline. They are really trying to make a championship push. But then we look through really the 7, the 6 seeds. The teams above us are not great. Obviously, New York does have a great selection of talent, but again, it falls off after the 6th and 7th man. And again, the first 6 guys are playing 40, 45 minutes night in and night out. And when we get to the playoffs, that is a very hard formula to win with, especially in a 7-game series that can be so physically demanding. Then when you go on, Indiana, I don't have a lot of faith in Indiana with Tyrese Halliburton and the other pieces they have. Yes, they're well put together, but again, we've seen this from Indiana year after year after year, just above 500, and really just a second-round exit type of team. And then Milwaukee, Detroit, Orlando, and Atlanta, are all mediocre teams in my opinion. Obviously, Giannis and Dame out in Milwaukee make that team scary, but again, Giannis in the playoffs, someone that we've seen year after year here in Miami, and we've done a very, very good job at really negating and minimizing how good and how dominant he can be by just building really a wall with him in the basket. And again, we've seen it work. Obviously, Philly is a shell of itself sitting in the 11th seed in the Eastern Conference. So we do have some teams that are very much underperforming compared to Miami. But now without Jimmy Butler, Tyler Herro drops a quote during All-Star Weekend that really highlights the fact that, yeah, we are a 9th seed right now. We just lost Jimmy Butler, and because of that, I don't think we're contenders. And again, shout out to Sirius XM, NBA Radio. Again, this is from All-Star Weekend where Tyler Herro, as well as other NBA All-Stars, were at All-Star Weekend doing their media, doing their press as they are required to. And Tyler was asked about whether or not this Miami Heat team could make a run at an NBA championship or just a deep playoff run, where Tyler said, and I quote, "If we're calling a spade, we're not contenders right now." And again, that was the end of the quote from Tyler Herro. Obviously, he goes on to elaborate just a bit more because this clip itself is about 30 seconds long, and this wasn't the entirety of the whole interview that Tyler did with Sirius XM. That's so funny. But again, the point is the same. Tyler calling a spade and saying we are not contenders right now. I understand we're not going to be contending for an NBA championship. I don't believe that is a far-fetched idea. With Tyler Herro being the best player on this team, don't get me wrong, we have a great collection of players, but a lot of them are role players, and at that, we just need that one significant piece, that one piece to put next to Tyler Herro and Bam Adebayo, as Bam, again, like we mentioned earlier, has regressed just a little bit from last season, at least offensively in the sense of points. It feels like he is just a tick behind where we were hoping him to be. Obviously, the rebounding, the facilitating, and the defense is still at an elite level. I think the facilitating got a bit better from Bam Adebayo, but again, the offensive production when it comes to putting the ball in the basket and being able to do it himself, again, I believe believe there's a bit of regression there. The idea of playing Khalil Ware next to Bam Adebayo, I think, has been a great addition to this Miami Heat team. It helps us rebound the basketball greatly, both on the offense and defensive side of things, which is obviously exactly what we needed, as well as also adding some defensive leverage and allowing Bam to take some pressure off of himself defensively. Those things, this green check mark after green check mark, these are all great things. And I genuinely believe that moving Jimmy Butler to Golden State and going out and getting the pieces that we did it was not a bad trade for the Miami Heat. I genuinely believe De'Vion Mitchell, Andrew Wiggins, and Kyle Anderson can all be reliable defensive pieces. Now, please understand, I said all reliable defensive pieces. I'm not expecting all three or any of the three to be significant offensive pieces for this Miami Heat team because, again, they were just freshly added. I don't believe they're going to be key parts of this offense. I believe it's strictly going to go between Herro, Duncan, Adebayo, and Ware are going to be the main focal points offensively from now until the end of the season, whether it's before we get to the playoffs or during a playoff run or in a play-in tournament, however it may go. I believe that those four guys are going to be the sole factors when it comes to the offensive production, particularly in the half-court offense for this Miami Heat team. I'm losing faith by the day in Terry Rozier. It's just in the fourth quarter, he's horrible. Obviously, we moved him to the bench because the offensive production, or really the overall production from the starting unit wasn't really getting the job done, and Tyler Herro has done such a significant job at improving his all-around game while not only improving his scoring without taking up 18 seconds of a shot clock, but also his ability to facilitate, be open-minded, not be stuck on one decision before he even makes a move. It's like, okay, we're going to go right here and we're going to force something at the basket. And again, then he goes to make the move. Defense collapses. It's not a good look. And now I feel like the overall vision and perspective coming from Tyler Herro as a point guard, as someone who is handling the rock for the majority of a possession for this Miami Heat team, again, it is greatly improved, and we see that this year from Tyler Herro because, again, he's having a career year. Obviously, the one in gold, the one highlighted, is the numbers from this current season where it is his first All-Star appearance. Shout out to Tyler Herro. He also won the three-point contest, so, again, he is doing something at All-Star Weekend. He did beat Buddy Hield in the final round of the three-point contest, and, again, it was awesome to see Tyler was, again, lights out like we know him to be, as he's one of the best. And honestly, we can name him the best three-point shooter in the league right now because he won the three-point contest. I think that's how that works. Just going to throw it out there. Don't say Curry's better because I won't argue with you. 24 a game, 5.5 rebounds, where the assist column, and 5.5 assists. So 24, 5.5, and 5.5. Those are damn good numbers from your starting point / shooting guard. I genuinely believe Tyler is not going to stop here, but just continue to progress. If you look at the shooting percentages, again, he was at records and career highs in all of these categories about a third of the way into the season. It looks like his three-point percentage has dropped just a little bit as, again, we've progressed through the NBA season, getting down to 38%. Again, totally respectable from behind the three-point line, as we all know. And then if we look at the free throws, obviously 85%, which is honestly shocking. I think he'd be a 90% guy. He did not get there. And then field goal overall percentage was 46.5%. Overall, very, very, very good splits from the young man. And I really give him, honestly, it takes a lot of truth to come out here and just full-on blast your team that you are the main piece on to say, hey, we're not built to contend right now. It takes a lot of really just being mature enough to acknowledge that and accept it and then vocalize it. Obviously, it's not what you want to hear as a fan, as a supporter, as someone who's involved with the organization. I understand that. But again, it takes a level of maturity for someone to come out here and acknowledge the fact that as currently constructed, as we currently produce with as currently constructed, it is not going to get the job done to beat teams to get to the finals or even in the finals like the Thunder, the Cavaliers, the Celtics, the Nuggets, the LA Lakers now with Luka, who looks phenomenal playing next to LeBron James. And then obviously there's other teams that are like middle of the pack who aren't considered as great as others, but again, Dallas, Milwaukee, Minnesota, LA Clippers, LA Lakers, the Rockets, the Memphis Grizzlies, these teams that are obviously very, very, very well put together and are playing great basketball, but again, they don't get the recognition because they may be relatively young, or again, they are just trying to make a splash this season that seems relatively different from what we've seen in the past. So again, Tyler Herro drops a reality truth, or just a reality bomb, if you will, on this Miami Heat organization and Heat Nation. And again, you can't really fault him for it. He is the main piece on this Miami Heat team, and despite that, he's able to acknowledge the fact that without Jimmy Butler, without that other significant piece playing alongside us in the starting lineup or coming off the bench, we are simply not just built to get the job done this year in comparison to the other powerhouses in the NBA. That was it for this episode of Heat Digest, and I will see you guys on the next one.